standing around your bed, the ghost of the ideas, the dreams, the abilities, the talents given to you by life. And then you, for whatever reason, you never acted on those ideas. You never pursued that dream. You never used those talents. We never saw your leadership. You never used your voice. You never wrote that book. And there they are standing around your bed looking at you with large angry eyes saying, we came to you. And only you could have given us life. And now we must die with you forever. The question is, if you died today, what ideas, what dreams, what abilities, what talents, what gifts will die with you?
The question is, if you die today, what ideas, what dreams, what abilities, what talents, what gifts would die with you? That speech is by one of my personal heroes. I think Les Brown is the best motivational speaker to ever walk the planet. He's fantastic. And every time I listen to it, I still get chills because it's such a powerful message. Now, what is Les talking about? He's talking about potential and you maximizing your own potential. He's talking about the end of your life and having a life at the end of your life, looking back, having regrets. It's the worst possible thing. So now you might be thinking, what the hell is my potential and what is my next step to achieving it? Over the next few minutes, hopefully you'll learn a little bit more about killing those ghosts at your dying bedside. What's so beautiful about Les's speech is that it's up to you to figure out what your potential is. And a lot of people talk about, aligning their mission in life with their job or their career or something like that. And if someone would ask me what my mission is, I would say simply to fulfill my potential. You are all here today because you were born winners, right? We were the one sperm out of hundreds of thousands that fertilized the egg. You were born a champion of life. A lot of people forget that. You just have to keep that momentum going. Don't settle for mediocrity. Don't succumb to those ghosts of your dying side. Now, I don't know when it started. Maybe I'm just an old soul. But ever since I was a young man, I had this irrational fear. I used to imagine myself as an old man, sitting in my chair, my grandkids playing at my feet, beautiful family around me, beautiful house, every trinket wealth could buy. But as I sat there as an old man, having regrets of things that I hadn't done when I had the opportunity. Regrets of things that I could only do when I was young. And now, as I was approaching the end of my time on this spinning spaceship going through space, I would have those ghosts on my dying bedside. In other words, I had a huge and a very irrational fear of not fulfilling my potential. What I always wanted to be was an athlete. Because in my youth, as the French would say, I was a dilettante. And from 13 to 39, I dabbled in several sports and martial arts, as Ken knows. But truthfully, I lived a very comfy life. And as I turned 30, I realized that I had to make a choice, and I had to make it now. I had my own successful trading company. I had a lot of money in my trading account. People looked at me and they said, you have a great life. I was traveling the world, every trip with a different girl. And I was just living what on the outside appeared to be a good life, but internally I was incredibly dissatisfied because you all know you can't lie to yourself. And I simply wasn't being congruent with my real dreams and what I wanted. And so my future ghosts were already in my head. Now I was young, I still had some time, but in terms of athletics and sports, as you know, Ken knows too, you have a small window and that window was closing. And my window of opportunity, I had to jump on it now. So I gave up my comfortable life and I entered a life of discipline. And I gave up what I was to be what I wanted to be. The next 5 years were the hardest of my life, the most physically painful, the most grueling, the most mentally torturing. I decimated my wealth, I gave away my trading company, and I lived very recklessly. and they were the greatest years of all. I competed all over the world. And in my last fight, I found that I'd finally achieved my potential. I had killed that ghost by my dying bedside. So I retired from the pugilistic fisticuffs forever, with no regrets at all. Now, what am I leaving you with that story? How will it help you live a more fulfilling life? Well, you might have heard the expression, start with the end in mind. And this is a similar sentiment, but it's much more powerful. Do you want the ghost of your potential angry at you at the end of your life? This is my personal definition of hell. On your last day on earth, the person you became will meet the person you could have become. Is there something gnawing at you to do? Deep inside, something your dying self would regret. Well, if there is, you have to do it now. No procrastinating. Are you at a big crossroads in your life, or facing a tough decision to make? Always think about that moment. Think about your dying self with no ghosts around you. Every important decision should move us closer to that goal. And remember, that definition of hell, on your last day on earth, the person you became will meet the person you could have become. Thank you.